What's going on, YouTube? I'm back with another YWB banger. And today we have a spicy video that I've been savoring for about like 3 years because I wanted to wait a year and tell it. And I just haven't had the chance the last couple years. But so, like I said, this happened to me about 4 years ago in 2022, like mid 2022 around. I don't know exactly what month or whatever, but anyways, so a couple things I wanted to mention before the story really started was that I literally broke my tailbone like a week prior to running, and the reason why we did this was because like we kind of had like a couple weeks of like planning, we ran a couple weeks prior to this beforehand, which I'm not even really gonna cover over that because it was like a complete fail. Like a quarter mile down the road, we got caught by like a fucking canine unit. But anyways, though, let's get into the video. Let me take one good fat hit out of this cart. Let's go. Definitely needed that because this is gonna be a pretty long video. So the video takes place in treatment, like I mentioned, and we've been thinking about this for a couple weeks. We were obviously bored of treatment, and we just wanted to leave. And let's just start off by calling this kid Connor, my accomplice, who he's the one from Fargo. That's why I even went to Fargo, North Dakota. So we were gonna go to this church concert that we had a couple weeks to like actually like behave and not be on like a different type of color because like we had like behavioral color sheets. Anyways, so that particular day of running, I think the concert was somewhat late in the afternoon time, and it was a church concert, right? So it was like a church band that was going to perform, and they're not no big band or anything like that. None major. I don't even know who was performing or remember who was, but it was at this like thing by Teen Challenge. I'll just mention it was Teen Challenge. I don't want to like mention like the treatments in particular that I went to because one behaves with kids. So we went to this concert in Minneapolis. I mean, you guys can do digging. And we were in like these fucking vans, right? So me and Connor were talking to these kids. I'm not even gonna give them names because they weren't really too big in this story time. But shout out to homie Maui because Maui was in treatment with me, so I will mention Maui because he definitely knew. And so we were like like basically talking about, oh, we're gonna like just take the advantage of like having one of our escorts, excuse me, kind of like escort us to the bathrooms basically, and like on the way back we were gonna run. We were gonna book it away. Me and Connor, just us two. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So once we reach into the concert area or like whatever, I think it was a bit giant treatment for like men and females. They had like two separate sides. And we had to kill off time until the concert started, which was about like 30 minutes or so. And we only really listened to the concert for like the first 15 minutes, and then yeah, within the 15 minutes we Connor's the one that proceeds to ask if you can use the bathroom, and the guy was like you'd have to like get a couple other kids. It had to be like a little like school of kids basically. And like I mentioned earlier, we had Maui and a couple other kids kind of come with us, so it made it seem like it wasn't suspicious, and I'll skip after the using the bathroom part because that's not even fucking relevant. So once we're coming back from the bathroom, it's like me, Connor, and like two or three other kids. I kid you not, Connor like literally just no hesitance. This motherfucker opens like this glass door that obviously had like an alarm. It was on the left hand side of like this hall because I still vividly remember this. It was like right like a couple feet before you actually entered the fucking concert. So I'm sure like other people kind of noticed that he like ran. But the guy kind of like yelled out, and like everybody was kind of like hyping that shit up, and I just stood there in shock. And I remember Connor just ran a couple feet, and then he turns around and he notices that I'm not even like running out with him, and he like throws his hands up like what the fuck. And after like 10 seconds of just contemplating, I just dip out too. And keep in mind, like I said, I suspect that my tailbone was like just healing because like my ass literally hurt. I could only run so far, then I'd had to like slow down. Like I mentioned before, we were in downtown Minneapolis, so we were running around for a couple blocks, probably for like a good 30 minutes until we headed to like the major part of downtown. I don't exactly remember where, but we ran from the Stevens Square area and we would have been like I guess central. So we walked to this park. It was a dog park from yeah, it was a dog park from what I remember. So Connor was doing most of the talking. He talked to two or three other people before we stumbled upon this one particular lady. So she was a comedian from what she told us and foreshadowing going to her stand-up show or not actually getting in, but anyways, so we asked her, well, like I said, Connor asked her. He asked if he was pretty decent at like making up bullshit on the spot. So he was trying to lie and say that he was 20 or 21 years old. Excuse me. And I didn't. I told her that I was 18, which in fact kind of did help out because she did say that we were babies and that she would help us. So she was like what the fuck happened? And from what I remember is that we kind of bullshitted her in saying that we got robbed in Minneapolis, that we were from like Fargo and we were visiting friends, and that we were like buying weed or whatever. And like the guy, like our quote unquote plugs, fucking robbed us and like took our phones. So she believed it. And so she was trying to, poor lady. We didn't do anything bad. We didn't fucking rob her. We didn't fucking hijack her car or anything like that. She did have a cool ass dog. So we he goes on Snapchat, not we, because I told him I didn't remember my password because I really didn't. And so Connor logs in and he hits up like some, I don't exactly remember who this girl was to him. I think he said it was like I do remember he said it was his brother's like girlfriend's, I don't know if it was like cousin, sister, friend, or whatever. So she eventually responds pretty quick because she knew that he was in treatment. And eventually, like, they get on the phone and she agrees to meet us like in some suburb around Minneapolis from what I had on my notes, I guess. I don't really remember this shit. This was 4 years ago. And don't even blame me because I'm high, because, like, honestly, this was a long time ago. So after Connor talks to his friend, and from what I remember, I don't exactly know how it kind of folded. I'm pretty sure the lady just basically says that she wants to fucking like kill off time, that we can just hang out with her. And from what I remember, I don't know. I think I was in the back and Connor was in the passenger side. Um, but we were just like we were smoking. This was like my first time smoking in like probably 4 months, 4 or 5 months possibly. I didn't smoke any THC in treatment or had any crazy stories. But obviously, yeah, because she was with her fucking dog. So the dog was in the like the back side, like the back passenger side. I was like in the back driver side. Like I said, I don't know particularly if this is true, but I'm like 50% sure she said that she had like a fucking spliff mix in the bowl, if I'm not mistaken. But so we were driving, I don't exactly remember where we drove first, but it eventually turned out to going to like this park. So, anyways, once we arrived to the park, I'm sure we either waited or the girl was somewhat already close because this was around her local area. She's the one that insisted this location. And yeah, so she kind of introduces herself to the lady more so, and me. And yeah, like Connor was kind of making up some bullshit stuff to the lady, the comedian. So and he already kind of told his friend that we ran away from treatment. So the comedian was like the only one that didn't know. Well, and probably other people later on as well. So not everybody knew that we were basically fucking fugitives. So, anyways, she drops us off and she just basically says to keep her updated that she is somewhat like she just wanted to know like if we made it back to Fargo. So we hang out with the friend, his friend, and she ends up saying that she can't really do much with for us. That her, because I think we call her parents, and I'm obviously her parents weren't gonna fucking let two dudes that wanted to go to fucking Fargo fucking stay or whatever. So I do vividly remember this, that Connor asked like about her fucking like that friend, and she said something about like, I don't know, I don't exactly remember what she said, but she said that she's not gonna fucking do that or whatever. So eventually, like, she just hangs out with us, and the fucking comedian, like, she talks to the comedian, and she says that she can't really do much, so she's kind of worried. And eventually, like, we kind of convince her into like getting us again, and that she was just gonna see like if we can just like go to her show, and she would ask her friends. So her friend from the area, fucking just sat with us for like, I think, an hour. She just had to drop her dog off and do some other shit at her crib. So we just stayed in the fucking park and waited for a little bit. So eventually Connor's friend leaves in her dad's car and fucking skedaddles. So we get picked up from the comedian or the lady, and we pop up at her show in somewhere. I think it was like South Minneapolis or around the area. And so, like I mentioned prior to this, that we didn't go in. We weren't able to. I think it was because we were just 18. We weren't 21, so we weren't of age to drink. And she just fucking lets her chief like her dime or dub or what she had in a little bag in her bowl. So we wait for like 45 minutes or whatnot, fucking finish off the bud, and eventually her it was two friends. It was a female friend and a male friend. The male friend was the one that fucking gave us like $50 each for Connor and I to take like a Greyhound. So they basically all of them tell us to fuck off. Like, they obviously didn't, but she couldn't do shit. She wasn't gonna fucking take us to her crib or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, obviously that's not what we wanted. We wanted to go to Fargo. So I believe they just dropped us off at the Greyhound, either there or somewhere nearby. And from what I remember is that we first buy tickets, and I don't exactly know how this happened, but fuck Greyhound for this. They legitimately like fucked us out of like $20. So Connor ends up buying his ticket. It was expensive, maybe like $25, let's say, give or take. And I don't know how it didn't register into buying two tickets, but it still ended up taking all of the money, the $50 bill. I was the one that was more nervous, and Connor eventually kind of like was like, okay, you know what? Maybe we can like sneak you past in with a receipt or whatever, because they gave us like, I think, 1 or 2 pages of receipts, so you can just give that to the bus driver. You know, you can probably just like sneak on possibly. And so we were like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just chill. So from what I remember, I think it was, I don't exactly remember the time. This was probably like 3 in the morning, because we had to wait a couple hours outside before the actual station opened. They only let you in through like these fucking waiting booth, and then like they didn't actually have like the whole um I don't know, the entrance opened, but like there's like these gates, you know, I don't exactly know how to describe it, but it had a kiosk, okay? So that's where we got the ticket. So we waited outside in the fucking, I'm pretty sure it was a little cold. It wasn't snowing from what I remember, but it was still pretty fucking chilly at night. And we just waited. I didn't sleep. Connor got like a fucking hour of sleep, and then I remember like a fucking couple like people just like walked by. I mean, they didn't look like homeless people, so I really don't know. So eventually we go inside, and I'm gonna just kind of summarize this up, because I'd give it like a 15-minute video, low key, and I'll start off the second part with these characters that I'm gonna mention in a couple minutes. So yeah, because it's the second part would be more so like the trip towards like getting to Fargo and just like the settlement. Um so there's like this older Somalian dude that, I mean, like, he was basically the key figure onto me like getting on the bus, you know, overcoming that fucking obstacle. And like there's like these two fucking just like females that like bump us cigs. So that basically kind of makes a little snowball effect, all right? So I guess I'll wrap this up here, because like it's not too much, you know, not too much. All we really do is just kind of finesse the fucking metro system. So, and I can say this now since it's been fucking 4 years later. I shouldn't get into any fucking trouble. But anyways, though, I hope you guys like the story, and like and subscribe. And I should be posting the next couple days. So, anyways, yeah, peace out, y'all. Stay green and stay safe.